My breaking point was when I felt like I didn't want to be here. And that was a place I've never been in my life. The thought of me feeling like my children and my family, my loved ones, were better off without me, that thought even entered into my consciousness. I knew that I had reached it. That was the point where I knew I needed to go and change some things. I was used to wearing all the hats. And normally I'm cool with that. And it is actually okay to wear multiple hats, but you have to balance it out and you have to make sure that you take care of yourself. And I was not doing that. I was wearing all the hats, but I never took care of myself. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't grounding. I wasn't taking time to just tend to myself. I wasn't soothing myself. I wasn't nurturing myself. Everything was about everybody and all the bills and all the issues and all the jobs and the businesses and the work and all the things. It was all about that, and I never took time out for me for like 2 or 3 years intentionally. And all of that was a buildup. I would go to work, I would smile. Y'all know that auto reply when people ask you, how are you, and you be like, I'm okay. I would do that all the time. And people thought that I was just this real light because I was good at hiding everything. Okay. I had that version of me, that mask. I had it down packed, baby. Let me tell you, you would not have. People often tell me when I tell them my story, they like, you would have never known. You wear it so well. Exactly. Because we are devoted to that version of ourselves. We practice it every day. We practice showing up with a smile when deep down inside we're crying. And I feel like, especially as a Black woman who does take care of her kids, I'm an independent mother. I feel like that is just, we automatically have that title of being strong and wearing that mask. Okay, it is an unspoken rule that I think society has placed on Black women, that we are strong, we are independent, and we are okay. And some of us are not. I feel like there should be a balance to all of it, right? But I was dedicated to that version. I was dedicated to that life that I was pretending that I was living. Nobody knew I was breaking on the inside because I was good at pretending. Literally, I was living a double life. Okay. At home, I couldn't get out of bed. I was doing the bare minimum on chores, on dinner, right? I had my moments where I was up, but the overall majority, at home, I was really sad and blue and sullen, no energy, no motivation. And then when it was time for me to be in front of other people, I found this big burst of energy, but it wasn't real. And then my body spoke to me. Headaches, anxiety, and my body started to feel stiff. I would have these body aches. It legit felt like sometimes that I had a flu. My body was aching. My head was hurting. I felt lethargic. I felt like I couldn't get out of bed at times. That was my body now telling me. Now, typically it was my mind telling me, like, when I would get overworked and stuff like that. But then my body hit and my body was shutting down on me. Not completely. Actually, I don't want to say it was shutting down on me. My body was signaling me that it was time for me to slow down and stop, rest, take care of you. This isn't about trauma dumping, right? I'm not telling you my story just because I need someone to talk to. I have a therapist. This is about, I see you. I see you, I feel you because I'm you. I've For the last year, I have dedicated my whole entire life to healing myself. I have dedicated the last, I'd say, like 6 months to just literally going within. I shut out the whole entire world and I began to just focus on me. Normally people would consider that selfish, but I say that it's selfish if you don't find a way to be selfless so that you can take care of your mental health and your body. I think that is the most selfless act of a human being, is to get 100% within yourself so that you can actually show up honestly and authentically and rested to serve other people. So the silver lining is I found my way out. Remember in the beginning, I said I wanted to be better, but I just didn't know how. I found my silver lining. I found the way out. I think one of the issues with us that's going through it, the storm at the time, we're because we're going through it, we can't see through it. So you're in the midst of it. You're in the midst of that pain point. You're in the midst of the issues. All you having your tornado at this moment, you can't see past that. And so it's hard for you to find what would be the best solution. What's the best course of action for me to take? How do I do that? Because the thing is, when you're thinking about paying your bills, you can't think about taking time away from work. Your mind just doesn't piece those two puzzle pieces together. When you are trying to take care of your children, but you also want to take a couple days to just practice a whole 2, 3 days of self-care, just sleep, bathing, resting, eating, and just focusing on you, those two puzzle pieces don't make sense. It doesn't fit, right? So it's just like, how am I able to do that without neglecting that? Or how am I able to do this without neglecting this? That's what we see when we're going through the issues, when we're going through our storm. There's going to be something that's going to be neglected. And if I keep neglecting myself in this process, I can't help anybody else. So I had to devote all of me to my healing, to getting better. At that point, I had to give myself 80% and give everything and everybody around me 20%. And yes, that was including the children. Okay. I want to say this. I was already giving them half of me, right? Because most of the time I would show up already mentally exhausted. So how could I play with them, listen to them, teach them, nurture them and stuff like that? I didn't even have it to do. So when it came down to the kids, I had to give them just enough of me so that they can be well, safe, fed, taken care of. And then I had to pull back and say, okay, now I got to still give this time to me. And I promise it didn't even take long for me to, get myself back to a good place where I could start devoting more time to my children. But that was a sacrifice that I had to make, especially if you don't have a support system there with you. They can say, hey, let me take them on and you get yourself better, right? I had to neglect work, money, finances. At that point, I had to solely have faith and the belief that my creator was going to take care of everything that I needed to do as far as living and finances, because I had to neglect work. I had to neglect my business and my endeavors, right? I couldn't show up on this camera and be honest about healing, about manifestation and all the things when I was broken. That would have been selling a lie. So there was things that definitely had to be neglected. I had to put myself in the front. I had to become first in my life. Not bills, not me taking care of somebody, not work. It had to be me. I had to be better for myself so that I can show up and be 100% for the people who depended on me. And so that's what this story is about. That's what this shift in frequency is about. We're shifting ourselves from a place of exhaustion to be able to be at 100% so that we can be there for the people around us. It's not about trauma bonding. It's not about trauma dumping. Sometimes you have to be able to release the pain. That shit sits on you and it builds like roots inside of you. And then it goes from you experiencing the pain to you becoming just pain. It becomes you, right? If we sit in something too long, that is what we become. So I want to switch gears for a minute, okay? Shifting frequencies is about healing. It's about shifting from the version of yourself that you do not want to be to the version of yourself that you always knew you could become. So the process is not going to happen overnight, okay? You're not going to wake up one morning and be a totally different person. I know the internet likes to make you feel like you can shift timelines and frequencies and just like that, everything changes. It doesn't happen like that. You do look up one day and you be like, damn, I am on a whole new timeline, but there's work that came in between that. And I'm here to show you that that's the work in between the people that show up one way and the people that show up another way after they've come through that middle part, that line in the middle. That's the part no one discussed. That's the part no one talks about. Let's talk about that. So here's what I want you to do. First, I want you to subscribe, right? Subscribe to Shifting Frequencies. If you made it this long in a video, go ahead and subscribe. Okay, we locked in. Then I want you to go find a journal. If you can't go buy a journal, go find some paper. Okay, it's not that deep. Then I want you to journal everything you feel. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to spell words perfectly. Don't try to, just let it out. Word vomit. Everything that you feel on that piece of paper or in that journal. And then after that, I want you to put it away and I want you to find something funny or happy or high vibrational to watch on TV. I want you to go to another YouTuber that you love that make you laugh and make you feel good and happy. I want you to watch them. I want you to maybe read a good book. I want you to maybe go outside in the sun, put your feet in the grass, and I want you to go to sleep. And continue to do whatever it is you would normally do. Just do that one thing. That's how I started Shifting Frequencies. In the very beginning, I'm like, I don't have no way out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to write in this journal. It's something about getting that out of your body onto paper. It doesn't feel like you have to hold it anymore. Okay. You're the container. You're holding all of these feelings and emotions, these thoughts, resentment, anger, confusion, bitterment. You're holding all that. You're the container to that. Once you put it in that journal and on a piece of paper, you no longer have to carry it. Trust me. Just trust me on that one part. You are already shifting. And I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, and share.